Welcome to Global Trade Explained, a series of videos dedicated to providing useful information about importing and exporting goods internationally. In this video, we're focusing on Alibaba.com, the international marketplace many of you are probably already using to source products. Whether you want to or have sourced products from Alibaba, either for the company you work for or maybe you're starting your own Amazon store, this video is for you. For everyone else, if you're curious about e-commerce in general or how Alibaba works, please keep on watching. Most suppliers on Alibaba aren't really direct factories. You probably already know that the platform is filled with middlemen and trading companies. If you want to know how to spot a middleman, you must first understand why Alibaba is filled with fake factories. The first reason is cost. The minimum membership plan Chinese sellers can opt for on the platform is Gold Member. The basic Gold membership fees start at around 29,000 yuan or $4,600. This may or may not seem like much, but the membership is not enough for getting any decent sales. Since competition is high, with hundreds of thousands of sellers competing to sell the same product, good listings aren't enough to rank in search results. To get more exposure in search or the site's other channels, sellers are also advised to use P4P advertising. P4P stands for Pay for Performance, and similar to Google or other advertising platforms, sellers bid on keywords, and the highest bids are displayed first. Keeping this in mind, and also the fact that the algorithms change all the time, managing the seller account is a full-time job, as you've probably already figured out, especially if you've got experience with other platforms like Amazon. So a manufacturer would need to establish a separate department just for selling on Alibaba. So more employees means more costs, and English-speaking staff aren't relatively cheap in China. Whether these investments generate enough sales or not isn't Alibaba's problem. At the end of the day, they still get their money. The second reason is when it comes to export orders, even though traders will mark up the price, factories still prefer working through traders because besides saving costs, they also save valuable time. Alibaba is trying to sell itself as a B2B platform, and unlike AliExpress or other B2C platforms, most of the products sold on Alibaba are customizable with the customer's requirements. A customer may have a great vision for a product, but most of the time customers might not be very technical or knowledgeable, so they need to be guided to provide the right technical requirements, drawings, or artwork, providing any needed files in the right formats, and so on. The middleman does all the work for the factory, saving them a lot of hassle. Besides saving them time and money on sales and customer support, factories also love traders because they bring in constant orders. Factories prefer to prioritize their resources toward what they do best, manufacturing. To be able to sustain a factory and keep the lights on, orders need to be constantly coming in, and production cannot stop for even a minute. Manufacturing itself is not a low-investment business, demanding significant costs for human resources, rent, and electricity, which at the end of every month need to be paid regardless of that month's sales volume. So for factories, working with one or several traders is just like having a sales department that you don't need to pay for. Of course, there are also manufacturers that have the financial resources and manpower to set up a separate team dedicated to selling on Alibaba, but usually these are part of big corporations or publicly listed companies. The third reason is the lack of knowledge. As we mentioned earlier, English-speaking staff in China don't come cheap. According to some estimates, less than 1% of China's population can speak English. If you ever tried to contact a seller on Alibaba's platform, that person is part of the 1%ers, and you probably already know that their English is not really at conversational level. Also, a lot of manufacturers are not familiar with the whole logistics process for exporting. Many don't have the experience needed to clear customs for export, and also receiving foreign currency payments in China is not really a straightforward process. The purpose of each transaction needs to be reported to the State Administration of Foreign Exchange within days, so rather than getting involved in unknown territory, many factories prefer having a trader in the middle because they don't have to deal with these processes. However, in recent years, Alibaba also introduced services to help its sellers go through these hurdles with a new service called One Touch. But this service is useful mainly for companies that do not have an export license, and it may be more expensive than exporting directly. Since you've been watching this long, we're also going to share a bonus fact with you. Some real manufacturers also prefer outsourcing the management of Alibaba's international sales to a third party. So many times, even if you've found a seller on Alibaba that seems to be a legit manufacturer, you've probably sent someone to inspect them and everything clears out. The person you are talking with might be a third party representing the factory on Alibaba. We hope you found this video useful, and we'd like to know if there are any other topics you're interested in. Please let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.